Hey there, and welcome to another Top 10 video. Now, usually, these count down some of the most popular board games of the last month. But there are other games that, while they generate interest, just don't stick around long enough to rank in the top 10. So, in this bonus episode, I'm listing the top 10 games that I have wanted to talk about, but just haven't gotten a chance to because they didn't rank high enough. I have been waiting months to feature some of these games, so let's get started right now. Well, first up is a game that I never thought that I would ever see, but now I can't imagine living in a world without it. And that is Bob Ross: The Art of Chill, a game by Big G Creative. In this game, based on the incredibly talented public television painter Bob Ross, players collect art supplies, configure their paints, set up their palettes, and play actions to paint canvases in a race to amass artwork against the legendary Bob Ross. As the players and the game-controlled Bob Ross compete to do paintings, they move along the game's painting track, accumulating chill points. Because if you're dealing with Bob Ross, of course you do. The game continues until someone accumulates 30 points of chill. Now, I think that the best thing about this game isn't actually its unique theme, but the fact that the feedback I've seen about it suggests that it's actually a pretty decent game. And it's nice to see Bob Ross's memory respected with a game that can actually stand on its own merit. And of the 492 games that have been tracked since this countdown started in May, Bob Ross: Art of Chill peaked at number 20 on our list and ends the year at number 166. The game in spot number 9 is the upcoming new edition of Brass by Roxley Games, Brass Lancashire. This version of Brass is on my list for two different reasons. First, I am quite intrigued by the rules revisions and fantastic artwork and components that Roxley has planned for this new version. But the second reason is Roxley themselves. You see, a few years ago, Renegade Game Studios came onto the scenes and quickly became a top-tier publisher. A lot of people now are eager to check out everything that Renegade produces and are keeping an eye out for the next Renegade. Well, after they published Super Motherlode, a game which I adore, Steampunk Rally, Santorini, and Dice Throne, I think that Roxley has the potential to become one of the publishers to watch over the next couple of years. But for now, I'm looking forward to seeing how Roxley applies their touch to Brass Lancashire, which peaked on our countdown at number 6 and ends the year at number 68. Now, with so many tabletop games being released each and every month of every year, publishers periodically try to create a little more buzz about their latest game by trying to market it in a new way. And this was the case with the game in spot number 9 on my list, Raxon by Plaid Hat Games. Raxon is a cooperative card game set in the Dead of Winter universe, just as its famous zombie apocalypse is starting to happen. In the game, players try to fight back the morbid infection that's spreading across the land before the sinister Raxon Corporation gains enough influence to take over the city. Raxon's pre-release marketing campaign over the summer took a unique approach in which copies of the game were only made available to a select few who received invitations to purchase the game from other players. Raxon was eventually made available to everyone through regular retail channels in late October. Now, the game's publicity stunt sparked the imagination of some customers who thought that it matched the theme of the sinister and secretive corporation that the game is named after, but the approach also left a sour taste in the mouth of others. So I'm not really sure if Raxon's PR ploy helped or hindered its popularity, but I do know that while it peaked at number 10, it didn't stay there long enough to earn a spot in the monthly countdown and ends the year at spot number 109. Every now and then, an existing game or series of games will come out with an expansion or a new edition that makes you say, wow, I'm only playing this version of this game from now on. Go ahead and throw that old version of the game into the septic tank. And such is the case with number 7 on my list, Vegas Wits and Wagers by North Star Games. This casino-style version of the classic trivia game caught my eye for two different reasons. First, it adds several new ways for players to bet on the answers given each round, including wagering on a specific player or range of answers to win. And secondly, these new betting options are presented on a thick, double-sided neoprene mat, in which, you know what? I can't do it justice just by talking about it. Hang on just a second. All right, so here we go. So yeah, I admit it, I am letting myself be swayed by a game component, but it's a component that is so fundamental to the game itself that I can't help but never want to play the game ever again, so I love it. These subtle little additions to the game have made the Vegas version my go-to edition of Wits and Wagers, which reached spot number 4 on the BGG Hotness list and ends the year in spot number 488. One of the games that I am waiting for with great anticipation is the one at number 6 on my list, Hunt for the Ring by Ares Games. Hunt for the Ring is a hidden movement game played in 2 chapters, with each chapter being played on a different game board. The first chapter follows Frodo attempting to move from the Shire to Bree, and the second chapter continues the journey from Bree to Rivendell. Rivendell, not Rivendale, or Riverdale. Both chapters incorporate different mechanisms, keeping all the players on their toes throughout the game. My anticipation for this game's release was not helped by the fact that I sat right next to a group that was playing it one night at PAX Unplugged. It was all I could do to keep myself from reaching over to their game, scooping it up in my arms and wheezing, "My precious." And I'm not the only one waiting to wrap my fingers around this game, as it peaked on the BGG Hotness list at number 2 this year and finishes the year in spot number 140 on our countdown. Now, whereas the game in spot number 6 was a hidden movement game, the game in spot number 5 has a hidden trader. The thing, Infection at Outpost 31, is set in the isolated Antarctic Outpost 31, which comes into contact with a bizarre extraterrestrial life form which infiltrates the facility by cloning members of the Outpost's crew. And then things only go downhill from there, because players have to race to purge this alien infection and escape before succumbing to either the alien, the elements, or each other. The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31, appeared on the Hotness list at least 30 different times this year, peaking at number 12 and finishing at number 74. The game in spot number 4 on my list caught my eye earlier this year because it seems to do a really good job of meshing board games and tactical miniature games. And that's because Warhammer Underworld's Shadespire by Games Workshop was designed to provide not only an accessible introduction for people to small-scale tactical games that can be played relatively quickly, but also allow customization and deck building options that provide multiple layers of depth that players can dig into as they become more accustomed to the game. And I recommend any board game hobbyists that may be interested in tactical miniatures gaming and wargamers who have been curious about hobby board games to both give Shadespire a try. It reached number 9 on the BGG Hotness and ends up in spot number 69 overall for the year. Well, next up are the top 3 picks on my list, and before we get to them, this is a good spot for a quick reminder to subscribe and click the little bell notification icon so you don't miss out on any of the videos posted on this channel, including the special surprise videos like this top 10 right now. And speaking of videos, videos like this are made possible by viewers like you who support the channel by donating to the Pair of Dice Paradise 2018 fundraising campaign. Every contribution that's received helps and is appreciated, so thanks for your consideration. But for now, let's get to the top 3 games on the list. Some of the games that I have previously wanted to talk about didn't rank high enough on BGG's Hotness list to crack its monthly top 10. But one game on this list didn't appear on the Hotness at all, and that is the game in spot number 3, the upcoming Railways of the World 10th Anniversary Edition by Eagle Gryphon Games. Now, Railways of the World is already just a mammoth game on the table with tons of superfluous plastic bits. But its 10th Anniversary Edition aims to up the ante even further with updated and revised rules, the inclusion of multiple expansions, several updated maps, revised cards, new map markers, and other updated components. I have been waiting to get a copy of the Railways of the World for a couple of years now, but I always seem to just miss out on its print runs. But even so, you can bet your caboose that I will not be letting this 10th Anniversary Edition pass me by when it becomes available. Hopefully, within the next few months. The Railways of the World 10th Anniversary Edition didn't rank on the BGG hotness, but it still ends the year in spot number 3 on my own list. The company Gameland Games may be best known for publishing tiny, epic games, but the game in spot number 2 on my list is anything but. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea has been on my radar for quite some time. But then, when I had a chance to speak with Gameland about it at Origins this past year, I was absolutely blown away by the level of detail and craftsmanship that they're putting into the design and production of this game. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is a 4X style board game with miniatures that tells the epic tale of orcs versus humans, dwarves versus elves, battling kingdoms, and the individuals who turn the tides of war. But to do this, players will begin with just a basic town hall, a couple of peons, and a single warrior at their disposal. And from there, they'll have to explore the land, increase their population, fortify an army, and develop their kingdom, all through careful selection, exploitation, war, and resource management. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is absolutely one of the games that I am anticipating most in 2018. And I'm not alone, as the game reached all the way to number 2 on the BGG hotness list and averages out the year in spot 103. Will this game have a resurgence of popularity when it finally starts shipping to its Kickstarter backers and retailers? Well, hopefully we'll find out, and find out within just a few more months. The game at the top of my list of games that I wish had received more buzz on BGG's hotness list so I could have discussed it in a previous countdown episode did appear on the hotness 24 times throughout the year, reaching as high as number 1 on July 5th. And that game is Container 10th Anniversary Jumbo Edition by Mercury Games. In its crazy fantastic 10th Anniversary Edition, Container returns with oversized ships and realistic containers for them to carry as cargo. Container itself is a game of building and then trying to manipulate the game's economy by building factories and warehouses to produce goods that you'll export to the other players while importing the goods that they make. And this super mega 10th edition version of the game not only includes an all-new add-on rule set called the Investment Bank, but also features resin miniature ships that are over 7 inches long, guaranteeing a striking table presence as you play. As with Railways of the World, I've had an eye out for a copy of Container for quite a while. And when I discovered this upcoming Jumbo Anniversary Edition, which is currently scheduled to become available in January, well, I just couldn't resist it. It looks to be a fantastic version of a game that I enjoy and have been waiting on for quite a while. And that's why, even though Container's 10th Anniversary Jumbo Edition settles in spot number 84 overall for the year on our countdown, it still tops my own personal list as spot number 1. Alright, there you go. 10 games from the BGG hotness list that burn even hotter on my own personal list. I want to know though, how does my list compare to your own? In the comments, tell me about a game either from this year or coming up next year that you think should be getting a little more buzz than it currently has been. And for countdowns, check out this playlist right here, and remember to subscribe to this channel for more board game news, reviews, and commentary. Until next time, I've been Chaz Marler, and take care. Yeah, I know I'm letting myself be swayed by a component, but you gotta check out this thing. This component is the absolute, but there's a playmat inside the playmat. My Seven Wonders playmat! That's where it went. It was rolled up in, what's 2 playmats in 1! Seven Wonders playmat, and apparently if you're looking for a storage solution, it rolls up nicely within your Vegas Wits and Wagers playmat. So, all about solutions here on Paradise Paradise.